Part 2 of R8.
So this is what I'm going to do now. So put it on the floor and I stand on it. Okay, I need to balance myself. So the structure of the prism is such is no protruding one. So you can stand on it. It doesn't harm the camera. Of course, you don't do it. Just to show that it's very well made, strong. And one thing about Leica SLR, from the first one to the last one, the viewfinder is very bright. Bright viewfinder, even you have a slow lens, f2, 3 point something, the reason, and in spite of the fact that this mirror is a two-way mirror, it's not a full mirror. You look behind, there's a secondary mirror. So part of the light goes down, part of the light goes up. So, but even then, the viewfinder image is super bright. Make it easy to compose, easy to focus. This camera, I'm not going to go through all the common details, but it has the multi-mode. You got manual, aperture priority, program, shutter priority, and then you got one F. F not for fail. This F, this is the only camera I know that got a built-in flash meter. So when you hook up the cable to your studio flash, and then you put it to F, you wind the film, you pull down you plunge down this depth of field lever, that will trigger the flash, and behind the display will give you the reading. That means you got to do 3 stops less. So you open up 3 stops. You can do a few multiple reading until you get 0. There is a correct exposure for the flash. So you can use the camera as a flash meter. I don't know of another camera that does that. Then of course you can put a motor winder. You can put a motor drive. You got a shaft for the winding and rewinding. Everything else is good, easy to use. Spot meter, center weighted matrix, your exposure compensation, the seldom used controls are here. So well built camera. Of course it's electronic, so it needs battery to run.
Wow, amazing.
After this R8 was the R9, basically the same, but slight small improvement, little bit of weight reduction. Then they came out with the DMR, Digital Module R. So you could take out the film back. Again, the only camera in the world that does that for 35mm format. Take the film back out and you clip on the digital back. Then becomes a digital camera.
How many megapixels?
10.
10, that's quite a bit. That was 19.
I can't remember, quite some time back.
Did it sell very well, that concept?
It worked. That digital solution was made in cooperation with one of the Danish company, Imacon. They were famous for the scanners. So Imacon developed that for Leica. Unfortunately, that company was bought over by Hasselblad. So that's the end of the cooperation. After that, no more. So the time, the crop was 1.37. Then people were waiting for the R10 full frame. They wait, and it never happened. Because Leica reckoned that by the time they developed the R10 without autofocus and full frame, the other market has already gone ahead of them. So they stopped. They killed off the R system. And what they did is they introduced the medium format, the Leica S, with autofocus. So that's what. But over the year, many lenses was developed by Leica. Maybe some by other people, but mostly by Leica themselves. from 15 mm up to about 800 mm. On the long end, they had a modular system. They got big lens head, small lens head with the back 1x, 1.4 and 2x, and you can make different combination from 280 up to 800. And focusing is all internal. No autofocus, but very good. And yeah, a lot of lenses. And people were saying whether the R was as good as the M. Actually, they make to the same quality level. But because of the single lens reflex, you need to clear the distance for the mirror. So your flash distance is longer. So they have to design the lenses that way. Whereas the M, without a mirror, the lenses were smaller. But technically, optically, they were just as good. But of course, the following, in the collector market, the M holds better value. So at one time, nobody wanted the R because no autofocus, not digital. So they were going very cheap. But now I think the price are going up again. So that's the Leica single lens reflex.
Wow, amazing story. I love the fact that you stood on it and can handle that kind of pressure, you know. Oh, people are going to go crazy over this. This is incredible. Such a great, beautiful camera. Who made did Leica make the lenses for their R series?
Most of the lenses are made. There's some lens, you see, in the old days, the factory will make everything themselves, including the screw and the pin and everything. But over time, they find that this is not the most cost-effective way. So all the components then come from other suppliers, other vendors. So what the factory make, assemble it together, and they specify the quality of the things. So some lenses were made by Japanese company. They have a 8200 f4 made by Japanese camera company. Then they had a 2870 f4 also made by a Japanese company. Then they had a 1635 wide angle zoom. But other than this, the rest of them were developed by Leica themselves.
Is there any questions you'd like to answer that you've read from some of our subscribers?
Oh,
Can you remember?
I actually replied to some of them.
Oh, you
directly,
did?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So this is excellent on the R system, the R8 especially. Not many people are probably familiar with this. So this will give great information. And in fact, you can use the R lenses on the current SL line, correct? Using
Yeah,
adapter?
you can use it with the adapter on all the mirrorless Leicas, the SL, and of course, even non-Leica mirrorless camera with the adapter you can use. One of the famous lens they had was the Apo macro lens, 102.8. I know some commercial photographers, they use that particular lens for shooting jewelry, for diamonds. It's found that only this lens can give the kind of tone that they wanted. Then there were some groundbreaking lenses, don't have it now, they were old one. It's the Apo Telit 180 3.4. The distance focus very near, at least about more than 18 feet closest distance. But that was developed for the military, for the naval shots, and that was apochromatic. So it was razor sharp. We had a local journalist who had the lens. He fitted a 2x converter, and he took a picture of a cockerel. And he blew it up, put that picture in one of our dealer shop, and that picture sold many lenses. A cockerel, very good lens. Of course, over the year they improved it. Then they got a monster of a lens, 180 f2. 180 f2, huge diameter. Again, internal focusing, manual focus, but wonderful lens. And of course, all the other lenses are good in their own way. So, like I said, there were no bad lenses. Even this one was also a Japanese one. The first 2870, so it's engraved there. Manufactured in Japan for Leica. And Leica don't hide the information. So it was made in Japan. They tell it to you it's made in Japan. And one of the books that I have where they show how they test the lens, actually the way they test the lens, I don't think many people do that. After they put the lens assembled together and ready to be taken out, before that they do a final inspection. They put it on an optical bench and they put a target, they shine the target and project an image on the wall. So it's a pattern of flowering pattern, all the lines and all this. And this gentleman who he do the inspection, he inspect the image every corner, every part of the corner. It's a time-consuming process, but the lenses go through all that to make sure that everything is good. Of course, they put it through heat test, cold test, everything. So the process and the care they take to make is tedious, take time, a lot of wastage sometimes, but once it is sealed and ready to be shipped out, it's good. So
Okay,
yeah,
great.
probably the best,
Excellent.
one of the best lenses you can ever get.
Okay, we can't wait for the next video. Thank you, Mr. Wu,
Welcome.
and looking for the next one.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.